Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Sophia Loren.
I'm going to have a fit because I don't know what's going to happen because, if she moves, everything moves and it's a disaster.
Sophia Loren, Italy's eternal icon of beauty and one of Hollywood's brightest stars, has enchanted the world for more than 70 years. But what if everything you thought you knew about her legendary life only tells half the story? Behind the glamorous smile and timeless grace lies a secret battle that almost broke her. Now, at 90, Sophia faces a shocking chapter few have seen, an event that turned her world upside down. How did this woman, who survived war, poverty, and fame, confront one of her toughest fights yet? In this video, we uncover the hidden struggles and reveal the untold truth behind her ageless beauty. Stay with us, because her story is far from over.
During the war, how do you pronounce the name of your original hometown?
Pozzuoli.
Pozzuoli?
Yes.
Then you went from there to Naples,
Yes.
you said, which was even worse at that time. Mm-hmm. And spent most of the hours hiding in tunnels and dodging bombs.
Because of the bombing and because...
If you want to understand the strength that has carried Sophia Loren through 9 decades, you cannot begin in the glamour of movie premieres or red carpets. You must go back to the dirt roads and bombed-out buildings of wartime Italy, to a fishing town called Pozzuoli, clinging to the Bay of Naples. This is where Sofia Villani Ciccoloni's story truly began, in a world defined by hunger, shame, and survival. She was born on September 20th, 1934, in Rome, into circumstances that would have crushed many. Her father, Riccardo Ciccolone, refused to marry her mother, Romilda Villani, leaving them without his name, his income, or his protection. In conservative pre-war Italy, being an unwed mother was not just difficult, it was socially devastating. Romilda, once a striking beauty with dreams of becoming a movie star herself, returned in humiliation to her hometown of Pozzuoli, a place where gossip traveled faster than the wind. Life there was brutal. Sophia, her mother, and her younger sister lived in a cramped apartment with relatives, often sharing one bedroom between 9 people. Meals were scarce. Some nights, their only food was a handful of stale bread or boiled rice begged from neighbors. Romilda once admitted she had been so desperate during the war that she scooped water from a car radiator just to keep her children alive. The Second World War turned an already harsh life into a nightmare. Pozzuoli, sitting near the port of Naples, was a constant target for air raids. Sirens became part of Sophia's childhood soundtrack. One bombing raid left her running through the streets when an explosion hurled shrapnel into her face, leaving a scar on her chin she would carry forever. Thin, shy, and painfully self-conscious, Sophia endured ridicule. Her classmates called her Stickino, little stick. Even her wet nurse would later recall thinking she was the ugliest child she had ever seen. Fame, when it came, would erase much of that judgment, but those childhood words left an ache that never truly disappeared. And yet, something inside her refused to break. By the age of 14, the awkward girl began to transform. Her once skinny frame filled out, and people began to notice. For Sophia, beauty wasn't vanity. It was the only ticket out of poverty she could imagine.
Likely that you became the star that she never got to be at her urging?
Well, my mother, we are very, very close, my mother, my sister and I, and she really helped me a great deal in the beginning of my career because she was always beside me and trying to give me advices, trying to teach me the most she could, because she didn't have much experience herself.
At 15, Armed with her mother's unwavering belief, she boarded a train for Rome. They had no wealth, no connections, and no guarantees. But they had a goal: escape Pozzuoli's shadows. What awaited her in Rome would change her life and cost her far more than she could have imagined. Rome in the early 1950s was a city vibrating with possibility. The war's scars were still visible, but the capital had transformed into a stage for beauty, ambition, and rebirth. For 16-year-old Sophia Villani Ciccolone, fresh from the modest streets of Pozzuoli, it was overwhelming, yet thrilling. Her mother, Romilda, encouraged her to enter a local beauty pageant in 1950. She did not win the crown, but she did win something far more valuable: the attention of one of Italy's most powerful men in cinema, Carlo Ponti. Ponti was already a respected film producer, credited with shaping post-war Italian cinema. He was also 22 years older than Sophia and married. Italy's laws at the time did not permit divorce, making any romantic involvement between them both illegal and socially explosive. Yet, Ponti saw in Sophia more than just a pretty face. He recognized an untamed magnetism, a camera presence that could carry her far beyond Italy's borders. He became her mentor, funding acting lessons, helping her refine her diction, and guiding her through the labyrinth of the film industry. It was Ponti who insisted on the name change, Sophia Loren, a name that would soon be known worldwide. Their relationship moved quickly from professional to deeply personal. By the mid-1950s, it was an open secret in the industry that they were lovers. In conservative Catholic Italy, this was a scandal that newspapers and gossip magazines eagerly amplified. Still, Ponti's influence and connections opened doors to bigger opportunities, including offers from Hollywood. In 1957, she was cast opposite Frank Sinatra and Cary Grant in The Pride and the Passion. Grant became captivated by her. Their chemistry on screen was undeniable. Away from the cameras, Grant proposed marriage, setting the stage for one of the most famous love triangles in Hollywood history. For Sophia, it was an emotionally confusing time. Grant was charming, generous, and adored her. But leaving Ponti would mean abandoning the man who had shaped her career and had become her anchor. She later admitted, "Cary was in love with me, but I could not break Carlo's heart." In that same year, Ponti secured a quick divorce in Mexico and married Sophia by proxy. But the victory was short-lived. Italian authorities refused to recognize the union, charging Ponti with bigamy and Loren with illegal cohabitation. The scandal forced the couple to live abroad for years, unable to reside in their homeland without facing prosecution. Yet, Sophia's career only accelerated. In 1960, she took on the role of Cesira in Vittorio De Sica's Two Women, La Chiara, a war drama about a mother protecting her daughter. The role mirrored her wartime childhood, and she fought fiercely to play it. Her performance was raw and deeply personal, earning her in 1961 the Academy Award for Best Actress, the first ever awarded for a non-English language role. She was celebrated across the globe.
To present the Cecil B. DeMille Award to you, Sophia.
However, when the lights dimmed and the crowds disappeared, Sophia carried a silent ache that no fame, no fortune, and no golden statue could erase. And that ache would soon consume her. Behind the dazzling smile, the Oscar wins, and the endless red carpet flashes, Sophia Loren carried a private ache that no award could soothe. For all the recognition she had earned, there was one dream that seemed heartbreakingly out of reach: becoming a mother. It was not just a wish. By the time she reached the age of 29, Sophia admitted, it had consumed her thoughts entirely. My desire to have children, she later revealed, had become an obsession. But fate would test her in ways that no film script could prepare her for. Her first pregnancy ended in a way that still haunted her years later. The miscarriage was not just physically painful, it was emotionally brutal. In the sterile hospital corridors, she watched other women cradle their newborns while she lay empty-handed. My life as a star, she once reflected, felt like nothing compared with the happiness of the new mothers I'd glimpsed at the hospital. 4 long years later, she tried again, clinging to hope. But tragedy struck once more. This time, the pain was deepened by the cruelty of words. A doctor, with no compassion in his tone, told her, "Signora, you no doubt have excellent hips, and you're a beautiful woman, but you will never have a child." The comment sliced through her like glass. To the world, she was the ultimate goddess of cinema, yet inside, she felt like a woman who could not fulfill the most basic longing of her heart. But Sophia had never been one to bow to defeat. Born into poverty in war-torn Naples, she had fought her way to the top of world cinema. This battle would be no different. Determined to understand why her pregnancies ended in loss, she sought out new medical opinions. Eventually, a specialist uncovered the root cause. Her body was not producing enough estrogen to sustain a pregnancy. The solution was both promising and demanding. When she became pregnant again, she made a decision that would require an extraordinary sacrifice. She checked herself into a small hotel in Geneva, Switzerland, and for months, she barely set foot outside. Every single day, she received hormone injections, lived under constant medical supervision, and rested as if her life, and the life growing inside her, depended on it. In many ways, it was like a self-imposed prison, but Sophia embraced it willingly. She knew what was at stake. Then, on a winter's day, December 29, 1968, the miracle she had fought so hard for finally arrived. Her first son, Carlo Ponti Jr., was born. The greatest, sweetest, most indescribable joy I had ever experienced, she said. 4 years later, in January 1973, her heart swelled again with the arrival of her second son, Edoardo Ponti. From that point forward, her priorities shifted completely. The relentless demands of Hollywood took a back seat. She wanted her boys to have the stable, loving childhood she had been denied during the hardships of wartime Italy. Many actors, when they hit the level of fame that she has, that fame becomes their identity, Edoardo would later explain. With my mother, that was never the case. What always fed her life force was her family. Sophia had conquered the box office, charmed the world, and outshone her rivals, but her proudest title was not movie star or Hollywood legend. It was simply Mama. Yet, as we'll soon see, the same life that had given her so much was about to take something away, something she could never replace. After decades of uncertainty and legal battles, Sophia Loren and Carlo Ponti's love story finally found its official seal in 1966. Having become French citizens to bypass Italy's strict laws, the couple formalized their marriage in a quiet ceremony. A victory after years spent living in a kind of shadow.
What are Carlo Ponti's great strengths? What attracted you to him?
Protection. He meant security for us and somebody to rely on.
Their union was not just a legal matter. It was a testament to their enduring bond, a love that had survived scandal, exile, and the relentless pressures of fame. For nearly 50 years, Carlo Ponti was more than a husband to Sophia. He was her anchor, her protector, and the steady force in a life that often felt unpredictable. While Hollywood buzzed around her, it was their life in Geneva that truly defined her in later years. Away from the flashing cameras and the limelight, the couple carved out a life of calm and domestic peace. Yet, as with all great stories, the steady rhythm was destined to change. In 2007, after nearly half a century of marriage, Carlo Ponti died at the age of 94. His passing marked the end of an era and left Sophia grappling with a profound emptiness. "Each time you think about it," she once said, "there's a moment of loneliness, which is very strong, but that's life." The loss of Carlo Ponti sent Sophia into a quieter phase of life. She withdrew from the public eye even more, finding comfort in her children and grandchildren. Her family became her new center, a source of love and strength as she faced the challenges of aging. But despite stepping back from the spotlight, the artist in her never faded away. In 2020, at the remarkable age of 86, Sophia made a stunning comeback. She starred in The Life Ahead, a Netflix film directed by her son, Edoardo Ponti. Playing Madame Rosa, an aging Holocaust survivor and former prostitute, she delivered a performance filled with raw emotion and powerful vulnerability. The role won her the David di Donatello Award, Italy's most prestigious film prize, reaffirming her status as a living legend of cinema. As Sophia approached her 90th birthday, she embodied grace, resilience, and a quiet dignity few could match. In September 2023, just weeks before turning 89, she was a radiant presence at the Armani fashion show in Venice. The world saw a woman who had endured so much yet was still captivated with effortless elegance. But life, as it often does, had a cruel twist in store. September of 2023 brought an unexpected and terrifying moment in the life of Sophia Loren. In the quiet safety of her Geneva home, her sanctuary from the world, the unthinkable happened. Sophia, the woman who had survived the hardships of war, poverty, and decades under the relentless spotlight, suffered a serious fall in her bathroom. The accident was not a simple stumble. It was brutal and sudden, causing multiple fractures to her hip and femur. The pain was intense, a sharp reminder of the fragility that comes with age. At nearly 90 years old, such injuries are not just physical setbacks. They carry the risk of altering a person's entire way of life. Swiftly, Sophia was rushed into emergency surgery. Her agent, Andrea Giusti, publicly confirmed that the operation had been a success, but he warned the world that the road ahead would be long and grueling. For a woman renowned for her fierce independence and vitality, this was more than a medical challenge. It was a test of her spirit. Her sons, Carlo Ponti Jr. and Edoardo Ponti, immediately flew to her side. For months, Sophia disappeared from the public eye, retreating into a bubble of physical therapy, medical appointments, and slow, painstaking recovery. The vibrant, magnetic presence who had lit up events just weeks earlier in Venice was now confined to the quiet struggles of rehabilitation. The silence from her camp only fueled speculation and concern. Would the legendary Sophia Loren, who had once danced through the golden era of cinema and won hearts worldwide, regain her strength? But those who knew her story, the little girl from Pozzuoli who had endured bombings, hunger, and hardship, understood that giving up was never an option. The grit and determination that carried her through a lifetime were now focused on this battle. Slowly but surely, she began to heal. By spring of 2024, glimpses of her resilience surfaced. Photographed at select public events, moving cautiously with a walking stick, Sophia showed the world she was not done yet. Her smile, though softer, still carried that unmistakable glow.
Don't come easy to me.
Now, at the remarkable age of 90, Sophia Loren continues to shine with a radiant charm that seems untouched by time. Audiences and admirers worldwide wonder, what exactly is the secret behind Sophia Loren's enduring glow and charm? How has she managed to age with such grace in an industry often obsessed with youth? Sophia Loren's answer is surprisingly simple and deeply profound. It all comes down to acceptance. For Loren, the secret to aging gracefully is embracing the natural course of life without resistance or fear. If you accept the aging process and live in the present, then you age gracefully, she told the New York Times. Unlike many who chase endless youth through surgeries or drastic treatments, Loren finds joy in being content with who she is. Why change your body and be somebody else if you're happy inside? I never thought of that. Never. I like what I have. I like me, she told AARP magazine, which featured her on their December-January 2021 cover. This philosophy is more than skin deep. Loren has often reflected that true beauty is something you feel inside yourself. Beauty is how you feel inside, and it reflects in your eyes. It is not something physical, she said. It's a belief that radiates through her every move, every glance, and every smile. She famously described style as a woman's dress being like a barbed wire fence, serving its purpose without obstructing the view, an expression of confidence and allure without pretense. For Loren, sexiness is an inner quality, not defined by physical features. I think the quality of sexiness comes from within. It is something that is in you or it isn't, and it doesn't have much to do with breasts or thighs or the pout of your lips, she boldly stated. When she looks at herself in the mirror, she seeks not approval, but self-respect and joy. When I look in the mirror, I cheer for myself. I don't ask, "Are you great?" or "Are you beautiful?" No, it's how I feel inside, how secure I am, how happy I am. That's what matters, Loren explained. Her beauty routine reflects simplicity and connection to her roots. She credits her radiant skin and health to traditional olive oil baths and a Mediterranean diet rich in fresh vegetables, fruits, and pasta. I love to eat, and I love to eat healthily. I love pasta. Everything I am, I owe to spaghetti, she once said with a smile. Genetics also play a role. Loren's mother lived to 81 and retained her beauty and vitality into old age. It's in my DNA, Loren noted. Sophia Loren's approach to aging is a powerful lesson in self-love and authenticity. Her timeless grace reminds us that true beauty comes from embracing who we are, inside and out, and facing life's journey with dignity and joy. If you were moved by her story of resilience, please consider leaving a comment below and subscribing to our channel. Click the bell icon to be notified of our future explorations into the lives of the stars. We'll see you in the next video.